Hello, this is Mark again. I'm working on this RP2040 design, and I'm still fluctuating on exactly what parts I want to put on it. That's common for me. One of the things I want to add is something called, well, let's see here. Let me get this. I want to add an IRDA transceiver for it. It is. This is an HSDL 3201 component, and it's just not that big. And when I say not that big, I mean this is how big it is. It is tiny. And I've put these on devices before. My biggest issue is the part does not exist in KiCad. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to add a symbol for it, and then we're going to add the footprint for it. But first we need a symbol. So let me get this out of the way for the moment. Let me get my schematic back up. This is where we left it. And now I want to add a part that doesn't exist. So, and I'm going to do it in a standard project library and not globally. So if I did it globally, I could use it on all my projects, but then you wouldn't see what I did. Okay, so we need to go back, and I want the library manager, and I should be able to find that somewhere in here. Tools, schematics, that, symbols from library, symbol editor. That sounds good. Let's do that. Let me get it to a size that will fit. Okay, so here's a symbol editor, and I want to create a new symbol, and my problem is likely that it's going to complain is no library selected. So I need to create a new library. So let me go back up here, File, New Library, and this is for project specific. And it's taking me to, it's in the right directory, and I want to call this the, as I said, this is the HSDL 3201. So now I've got a library, and now I can say create a part, symbol name, this is the HSDL 3201. Derived from existing symbol? No, not really. It's a U, number of units for package 1, not interchangeable. It's all be fine. Exclude from board, show pin numbers, that and that. Okay, we'll just say okay. So let me zoom out just a little bit. Then let me move these labels out of the way. I'll move them back when I'm done, but I need the part I want kind of separated. I want it nearby. And I need pins. What I can do is we'll just go back to the schematic, and this is what I'm going to build. Is I want this. I don't need all the fancy details, but I do want the pin numbers in there. So I'm just going to refer to those. I'm going to drag this off to the side of my screen a little bit. It'll be out of your view, but it's what I'm referring to. Okay, so I need the pins, and let me just put them in. It looks like these 8 pins go on the left side, so let me just stick them in here, and then I'm going to do it in their order, which was pin 1 was at the bottom. So pin name, the first one was GND. Pin number 1, electrical type. This is power input, so we'll say it's power input. And let me say okay. That'll be fine. Let me just put it right. Let's see. I'm going to probably end up moving these. Let me put another pin. This one's going to be, this pin 2 is no connect. Pin number 2, this type, it actually has a definition for that, so we're going to say it's no connect. I'm going to just set it there. Pin name for 3 is VCC. That's pin 3. This is again a power input. Pin 4 is analog ground. Pin 4, power input, be fine. Pin name for 5 is shutdown. So it's SD. Pin 5, and this is an input. Let me shrink this and do that. Pin 6 is RXD. Pin number 6, it is also an, this is receiving data. So this actually is an output. Okay. Another pin. Pin 7 is, this is TXD. This is the data you want the IR device to transmit. That's on pin 7. So this is an input. Pin 8 is, this is the power for the LED for transmitting. This is VLED. Pin number 8. And this is a power input. And then we've got the shield, which we're going to put on pin 9 because I need a shield. It's just another metal thing that goes to ground. So I'm going to call that, let's see, I'm going to put it on the other side. Well, you know, we could put it up here. Let me just, you know, because the location on the drawing doesn't make that much difference. SHIELD. Okay, this is pin number 9. And again, we're listed as power input. And then I'm just going to put it right there. Now let me move a couple of things. Oops. Let me move that label again. It's still in my way. I will move them back in a moment. So now I need, I want to move everything down. I want this kind of centered. Select, move. Okay. I need a box around this thing. So we'll just draw a line for a box. And we'll just do this. Okay, there's the box. You know, there's a couple of bubbles on their design. We'll put a couple of bubbles on there. That's not quite what I expected, but let me just start there. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, so now I need the, let's move the U to where it should go. Put it right there. That'll give us our UN, and we'll put the part number above it. Okay, so there's my symbol. That wasn't too tough. Let's go ahead and save that. Save it. No symbol library. I thought I was selected on that already. Save. Okay. So I'm looking in my directory, and if I sort by date and time, there's a HSDL3201 KiCad underscore symbol. So there's our symbol. So it did get saved okay. Okay, so I've got that. Now I can close this now since it's been saved. I can come into my schematic, and I want to put that part on here. And there it is, HSDL3201. Pick the part, say OK. So there it is. And I can place this, I'm going to place it pretty close to the edge. Ground, we can just Command D for duplicate. And we get a few things that connect to ground here. Analog ground will do it, and we'll also take shield. Now the VCC on this thing will also need a pretty good ground. Let me look up what I need. Or a capacitor on it. The VLED and the VCC are both going to connect to plus 3.3. So they'll connect together. And I want the VCC here. So I want to come over here, Command D on that. Put that there. Trace. And I want a bypass cap that's big. I want the 10 microfarad cap that we've got right here. I'm going to hit escape again so it erases that. Command D. There's my 10 microfarad. I'm going to put it just close enough where I can get the wires to go where I want them. Let me, for cosmetic reasons, I'm going to bring that up a notch and then go there. Okay. So now I've got 3 data lines that come out. And I can connect to the micro. That one looks goofy. Now, from here, my issue is I don't have a package for this either. So what I need to do is I need to come up with the package on the layout side. And that doesn't exist, at least here. So when I come up here and say I want to, well, let's enumerate things first because it's going to get picky with me if I don't. Annotate, excuse me. So, okay, now that everything's been numbered, close that. So now this is U4. That really put that in a funny spot. I thought I told it to put it in a different spot. Let me move that U4 down to here. Move that label back up there. Okay. Now I can go in and attempt to assign footprints. And I don't have one for this. So that's just not going to work. And there seems to be a slight bug in KiCad that I really do need to go to the board layout thing that we did earlier. There's not much in here. I mean, that's just the processor. There's nothing else. And I can even say copy everything across. And there's an error because it says that doesn't exist. Cannot add U4, no footprint assigned. Yeah, that's what we haven't got. Let me zoom out here. There's all the other parts that we've added. It doesn't matter where I put them. I'm going to move them all around in a minute. So let me just send that around. But from here, I've got footprint editor. And what I want to do is I want to create a footprint for this component. This HSDL 3201. So from here we got to get to how do I do this now? Some of this stuff I don't do very often, so I make lots of mistakes, and that's quite all right. I think I need a new library. File, new library. This is for project. And I'm going to call this we'll call it the same thing, because I mean, it'll get a different name, HSDL 3201. Okay, so we've got that. Now I can say I want create a new footprint using Footprint Wizard. And it gives us all of these options. And what I really want is an SOIC. And this is what it gives me. And this is kind of like an automatic thing. But what I really want in this is I only need one row. So I'll change that to a 1. And I only want the 8 pins that are already in a row. That's closer. Now, if I come back to this component, package dimensions, how it's there. There's that. Oh, here we go. Recommended LAN pattern for HSDL 3201. This is the shape of the pads. So I want a 1.75 millimeter that's the center of is going to be 0.775 below the center. And they should be 0.6 by 1.75, and there should be 8 of them. I'll get this other pad afterwards. So I'll go back to this. So this is pad pitch. Okay, so let's see. The pitch is 1.425 minus 0.475. That's 0.95 millimeter pitch. So let me, pad pitch is 0.95. Okay, so it shrunk that down. The pad width is 0.6. That matches what we already set. Pad length, I got 1.75 here. And 1.75. Row spacing 5.2. Well, that doesn't make any difference because we only have one row. So that should be everything. So that's all we need at this part. So if I send this over to the rest of the editor so I can fix the rest of it. Okay, so this is the unsaved component. And now I need to add one more pad. So I want to add a pad, which is this. And I should probably move things around a little bit. Okay, so there's a pad. Let me hit the escape key to make that go away. And now I'm going to put my cursor on it and hit the E key. And the first thing is that it's pad type. This is going to be rectangular. Surface mount, pad number 9, rectangular. Okay. What do we got? It is this is 1.35, but times 2 because it's symmetrical. So it's 135 times 2. That's 2.7 by 1 1/4. So this is 2.7 by 1.25. Okay. So that's doing fine. That shape is better. This is looking close. Now, where it's located is still not totally right. They put the mounting center 1/10 of a millimeter from the top of there. And I can see if I get the grid set a little better. Grid, let's go for 0.1 millimeter. Let me swipe this whole thing and say move. Okay, we're moving at 1/10 of a millimeter per click. So let me just put that there. We want the top of that to be 2.05 away. You know, we could probably count that. So I want that to be about 2.5. So let's see here. Let me move it to, it's going to be centered. So 2.05. Let me put this to, debating on how to do this easiest. Let me put it right there for the moment. Flip my grid back to 1 millimeter and then move. There's 2. That doesn't seem right. That's not anywhere near where it should be. I should have 2.05, 1.25, 2.05, 1.25 minus, that's 0.8 millimeters from center to the bottom of it. Okay, let's go for that instead. There's the bottom of it, and we want 0.8. Go for 0.2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you know, that really not too far off, I don't think. I've got a little bit of slop. I'm going to bring it up one more click because that looks really close. Okay. Let me move the label. And let's see if I can do a save as here. And I should have file, save as. I can't do that, huh? Let me see when I save. Oh, there. It's gonna give me that option. HSDL 3201. And the library that it needs to go into is that one. It seems like it worked. Okay, let me go back and look at my directory. So it put the directory right inside our files. That's good. So it looks like it's supposed to be there. So now I can go back. Let me close this. Let me save and close the schematic for the moment, or the layout for the moment, and go back to this. Now I should be able to come back to assign footprint, click on this guy, and there's my part, there's my part. Say OK. So we've now got the footprint assigned. Save it. Back to layout. Update the board from that. No warnings, no errors. Update PC board, close. And there is my IRDA interface. Awesome. So now when I get the schematic and stuff together, it'll connect okay. I still have a few more ports to add, but I think I'm going to stop there. We've gone far enough for the moment.